California lost 40.
But also look at Florida. Florida is the third largest growth.
California losing 55 wards. Washington losing 42.
Oh, it got worse in 2022.
I understand if you don't like a religion, but making the claim that everybody's leaving that religion, that is the demographic version of like the mean girl in high school who's like, everybody hates you.
Oh my gosh, this one is huge. You were telling me?
They're not going to like this one.
What's going to happen in 30 years when just straight up Africans have leadership positions?
California's losing 40 wards. Oh, that's where they're going. This is monumental. Oh,
everybody's leaving, but that's not really the...
Data is not the plural of anecdote.
Yes. Here's how you know Mormonism's succeeding. There are new Mormon churches popping up.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to wardradio.com. I am your host, Cardin Ellis. I'm joined in the studio by Kwaku L, as well as Jonah Barnes. And you know, one of the best parts about being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, aka Mormon, is what the algorithms think you want to see the second you start watching any kind of content from the church or whatever. I don't know if this has happened to you guys, but the second you type in Book of Mormon X, you all of a sudden start getting referred ad nauseum Mormon Stories podcast and Exmo subreddit content and so on and so forth. And it really does get ad nauseum. And you start noticing there's trends. One of the most recent trends that they're trying to put out there, those that hate us, because we delight in truth and we denounce what, guys? Deception. On this channel, we're going to delight in truth and denounce a deceptive lie that is getting told right now, that the Mormon church is in decline. Look at this, all these podcasts saying new temples veil Mormonism's decline, Mormon church in decline, an insider report, so on and so forth. There is even a new subreddit I've been recommended called Mormon Shrivel that supposedly highlights and rejoices, almost like, you know, like making fun of somebody you beat up. It's just like really kind of this angry, mean spirit. Rejoices in all the different chapels that have been shut down or wards that have been merged or so on and so forth. And this does indeed hit close to home because me and Ed here, you know, are in-house security that can be seen oftentimes guarding us very dutifully from all of the evil Exmo anti-Mormons that want to do us harm. You know what I'm saying? They're weak though, and Ed's got them. But anyway, we come from wards and stakes that have indeed been shrunk. But unfortunately for everyone that opens here, it looks like 15 open in Vineyard. So we are going to see, is the church really in decline according to the numbers? Because remember, we follow the science here. We follow the science. And is the Mormon church in this sad state of decline? Are we really just falling apart at the seams? Or, as I have stated before, in the anti-Mormon rules is, as you can see right here at the bottom, is there zero understanding of natural consequences? Is this natural consequences of sociology and the church is actually growing? They just don't want to admit it? Or is there indeed a nefarious lie that is being covered up in the numbers? So just Jonah Barnes, you have done some digging and dive right in. Tell us what's up.
So this is actually a good sampling here because we have Cardin, who's a Californian. I'm from the state of Washington. And Kwaku, although he is the bon vivant of the nation.
Bon vivant means it's French for the man about town that everybody likes.
It's German for Uton.
Oh, it's German for.
Yes. I am a Uton at this point.
Yeah.
It means everybody likes you and you're a man about town. So
that we all have.
Although with that hoodie, you do look a little bit less jovial as you do with your pearls.
I need another Red Bull. I'm tired.
Yeah. Usually with the pearls, you're a little bit more approachable.
I don't want to get them dirty because we just went to a lake.
That's true. But lake was fun.
We have like 3 different perspectives here, and they're all going to be relevant. So
yes.
Okay, so debunk away. Let's delight in truth and denounce deception.
So first, we got to give a shout out to the guy who actually put this data together. His name is Matt Martinich. He runs the blog, which you should all go check out, ldschurchgrowth.blogspot.com.
Well, I didn't know there was one. What was that again?
ldschurchgrowth.blogspot.com.
.blogspot.com.
Still on Blogspot?
Yes.
Yeah,
he has been
hardcore.
forever. So this guy,
Look at
Matt
that.
Martinich, he is an honest dude. If there's something going wrong, he's just going to report it. Like it is so rare to get just an unbiased perspective on this. And Matt
Interesting.
is one of those. He's great. He responds to comments. He has all kinds of sources that he gathers data from, people who send him information all over the world. He makes predictions about where temples are going to be built, and he's pretty good. He's a very smart guy.
He makes predictions where temples are going to get built.
Because he's got an inside track. He really is pretty good.
So is this like the
he's
Nate
like Q.
Silver? He's like Q.
He's
like
like Q.
Which temple is JFK Jr. going to come back from the dead?
He's like the LDSQ. I didn't think about that.
Okay, so you've got
But-
your boy with some inside stats. He's like the Nate Silver of 538, but just for Mormons, right?
Actually, that's actually a great description.
Yeah,
He's a
okay.
great guy. And
Okay, cool.
Matt, we would love to have you on the show, by the way.
Okay.
If you ever have time, we'd love to have you on here because your work is great. We're big fans. And hopefully all of you watching this are also going to be big fans. But anyways, he put together this information, and some of it is in the Discord, about congregational growth and loss for 2020-2021.
Okay.
Very interesting. I went glancing through this. So I'm from Washington. You're from California. It kind of feels like the Mormon Shrivel thing is true. It kind of feels like, where's everybody going? Our wards are shrinking.
That there's stakes that are closing just like completely.
Yeah.
And wards are getting absorbed into outer areas, but that's all socioeconomics to me. I mean, my house went from being valued at $334,000 to being valued at $800K.
Oh, yeah.
During COVID, $1.2 million.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Homes were going for $1.2 million that were purchased for less than $500,000. How is a young family that's just starting out and got an entry-level job somewhere, even if you had a six-figure income with student loans, you couldn't afford
It's impossible.
an $800,000 house, except in Utah. And Vineyard, where this guy's going, is blowing up like crazy.
Utah's one of the most expensive
Alpine.
states to live in now. What are you talking about?
Oh, now, but
Well,
not
it's
over the
because
past
of
4 or
this-
5 years.
it's because of
We
this
drove
migration.
up your land prices. It was the Californians moving there.
No, seriously,
Just-
dude. Eagle Mountain used to be like, ugh. Now it's like, oh, you live in Eagle Mountain.
Yeah. By the way, dude, there's 2 cities. It's crazy. My father has a company in the service industry, and we actually did the math one day because we had a lot of people moving. They said, "Oh, to Nashville." We did the math, and we had like 24 customers move to Nashville. We could start a small branch of my father's company if we just opened up in Nashville.
Wow.
And Utah, it was like 200 or 300 during COVID moved to the Mormon Belt of Utah,
Yeah.
Idaho, and Arizona. And then like with Texas, actually, there's surprisingly wasn't a lot for Texas, but I mean, Utah, Idaho, Arizona, Nashville, Florida is. My sister moved to Florida. When I married my wife 10 years ago, there were 64 family members in our hometown here in Los Angeles. All right. Now we're down to 11.
Phew.
And they're not going inactive. It's not
Yeah.
Ellis family Shrivel.
Yes.
They're buying houses in the new suburbs of Ogden that didn't exist and were swampland 10
Yeah.
years ago. One of them bought in Florida. One of them bought in like, it's absurd.
Yeah,
I mean, there's 2 new chapels in Vineyard, and not even 3 minutes away is now the new stake center right next to the new Orem Temple. Like, if you live at, if you're a UVU student, you live at Axis, Promenade Place, or Wolverine Crossing, the most densely populated block in Utah County is right there. And it has on either side of it 2 stake centers that are kind of new, just built to hold all the students.
So many
Jeez.
California Mormons have moved to Utah that President Nelson came here and gave a special California member address in 2022, early 2022, I can't remember, in which he basically said, no, we need you to stay here and fight. Like, yes, it's noble to want to leave and be closer to family, all this other stuff, but please, California always has had a unique place in church history. You're on the precipice of culture and influence. Please stay. And I know people that had huge lots of land that were selling their homes here for like $4 or $5 million, and we're going to buy mega mansions in Alpine that put those plans on hold
Wow.
because of what President Nelson said. Now, you notice he didn't say, please start coming back to church.
Right.
He said, please stop moving, which shows just because we had 10 years ago, we had to stop using a church building down in Los Angeles because it just wasn't necessary. We could all go to other church buildings. And now the church is wondering, should it just sell it off? Meanwhile, it can't build fast enough where Kwaku lives.
Yeah.
You know, so
Vineyard has, Vineyard and Orem are basically the same city, but Vineyard just like, it's right near the lake. They took a little bit more time when building it. It's got like
not so depressing.
It's the South Jordan of Utah County. That's what people say, right? It now has its own front runner stop. It didn't need one, but that's how many people are just being shoved into Utah. So many people. We can't build fast enough.
Yeah.
The Cinemark, the Provo Cinemark.
Well, if there is market research and data that needs to be done, forget this guy and the facts and figures. We're going straight to the Cinemark to see what's up. You know what I'm saying?
the Provo Mall, right? It's been there. It was there when you guys were at BYU.
Sure.
Being destroyed right now, being turned into apartments, and stores are making it into like a whole neighborhood.
Really?
That plot of land, because they're like, look, we can't build into the mountains. The mall, hey, we're tearing you down so we can make apartments and stores.
There's a couple of church buildings in Ogden that are getting just sold off and used to make housing as well. And people are like, oh, yeah, that's because, the heart of Ogden, which is old, whose people moved there in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, is now aged out. Their grandchildren can't afford those houses, especially not when they're competitively priced with new builds only 10 minutes away. Just commute, save $100,000 on your house, start a family there. Of
course.
So anyway, let's dive into the data. We don't want to bury the data 11 minutes into this podcast.
Okay, so
Tell
the
us
first
what the data is.
So I kind of compiled this from Matt's stuff. It should be in the Discord. You can see a little bar graph there.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
But it shows, if you squint a little bit, this shows congregational growth and loss ranked by all the 51 states and district in the United States, so including DC.
Okay.
At the very, very top, you see California losing like crazy.
Oh my gosh, we're the number one. Oh, I'm
number one for congregational loss. Now, the official number there, I think I actually have the data here.
Oh, by the way, your screen just showed up in the bottom of your. Yeah, there you are. It's kind of funny. But I'm going to actually make this a little bit bigger so the audience can see it a little bit closer up because these are some. Look at California.
So California is losing 40 wards over this time period, just hemorrhaging wards, right?
Oh, man.
Washington State, my state, losing 23 wards in this period. So this is where I start thinking, gee, maybe those antis know something, because sure feels like this place is shrinking, right? Then you look at the bottom of the graph to see what's happening.
Oh my gosh, Utah is exploding.
Yeah, can you scroll it? They got to see it in the screen.
Oh, they can't see it on the screen. Oh my gosh.
Look down here.
Look.
That's where they're going. This is monumental, right? So while we're losing all these wards in California and Washington, where are they going? They're all going to Idaho and Utah. Utah gained 146 wards over the same time period. Jeez. California lost 40.
But also look at Florida. Florida is the third largest growth. Yeah. And Florida used to be I have family, like, believe it or not, Ellis Road in Melbourne, Florida is named after my family. Oh, he's right here. Just went to his funeral. Blessed man, Clark Ellis, such a cool guy. Melbourne, Florida, Ellis Road is named after our family. There's a large dairy farm there for many generations. They were prominent members of the community. So one of the most prominent thoroughfares in Melbourne, Florida is named after my family, right? And dude, bro, that was a straight up mission field like 25 years ago. Now it's rivaling in growth, and my sister's moving there, and half of like the Mormons on the East Coast seaboard are moving there as well.
It's crazy.
Why? I mean, look at this. It's the third biggest in growth with how many wards?
15 new wards added. Now that's Washington lost 23. Florida gained 15. Right? Over that period.
So Florida is single-handedly almost just absorbing
sucking the life out of
all of the loss
my state, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So if you look at the next year, there's another graph on there for 2022 that he just updated on his marvelous blog, Matt Martinich, on ldschurchgrowth.blogspot.com. And it shows the exact same thing. California losing 55 wards. Washington losing 42.
It got worse in 2022.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, there's a lag. If a ward has 200 people and it loses. You have to create new wards to house the new people when they move.
Yeah.
But you don't have to collapse that ward until it gets down to like, 60 or something like that. So you have to create new ones, and they still are shuttling over, and then finally so there's kind of a lag in here if you think about it. California lost 55, Washington lost 32, Utah gained 37. So you can see by these graphs where everybody's going. They're all moving to Utah, and it makes perfect sense. Everybody has family in Utah. They all have an aunt. They all have a cousin who lives in Utah already. The housing prices here, the family culture, the education system, taxes and cost of living, of course.
Oh my gosh, look at this. And here's what's the crazy thing, and this is interesting as a filmmaker because Michigan has really good tax incentives for filming there. So a lot of Hollywood has tried to film in New York and Michigan as much as possible. Look at this graph. The third biggest growth in 2021 and 2020, according to the previous graph we saw, was Florida, that you see right here. Third from the bottom goes Florida, Idaho, Utah. Now look at it in 2022. The third from the top is Michigan, Arkansas, Indiana. Whoa, you wouldn't think of those as growth places. But I mean, interesting. Michigan. My father served in Michigan in 1978, and he's like, there was a better chance of accidentally bumping into one of those guys, the king of Beaver Island.
Strangites?
Strangites. Yeah, it's like you'd bump into a Strangite sooner than a member of the church.
Yeah.
In some of these small communities, that's it. So it's like,
that makes sense because we forgot about you states are people are looking there for housing.
Yeah.
And these developers are just saying, boom, like Liberty Hill, Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, but look at this. It's not just
booming.
Arkansas, I have a cousin that lives in Arkansas, and he's this total hardcore Protestant pastor, big time anti-Mormon. It's kind of funny. We still love him and whatnot. But Arkansas, nobody thinks of Arkansas politically, socially, religiously. Arkansas is its own thing,
I mean, think about it. If
now it's the number 4 state. What?
If you've been a Mormon in California trying to escape being seen as the bad guy, you want to go where a place no one's going to find you or look for you, you're going to go to Arkansas.
No, they think you're the bad guy there. They're literally like, you from California?
Oh, you're one of those.
No. That's you're thinking of Texas or Arkansas is like, where you're from? Where?
Where is that? Cala what?
I don't care. There's nothing going on in that state.
Arkansas is a beautiful state too.
Hillary Clinton used to be in charge of it.
Ooh, wow. I forgot about
Sorry
that
to hear
one.
that.
But look at this: Montana, North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Alaska, Hawaii, Minnesota, Missouri. What?
North and South Dakota. Now, before people think, the numbers are shot, 1 year split to the other year, maybe it's, if you totally eat up, the net difference is almost 100 new wards growth. Okay? So net, the church is growing wonderfully in the United States, right? But it's interesting to see this shift. This is why Russell M. Nelson comes out and gives that conference, because he says, holy cow, everybody's leaving the West Coast. And so he comes out and he doesn't say, come back to church. He says, stay in California, right? So this is what the Mormon Shrivel people are saying. Oh, well, gee, don't you wonder why? It's probably because it's...
Well, that's because you didn't read the CES letter hard enough. I did, and I swallowed my vomit several times with that.
Yeah. Jeez. I mean, also, to me, this isn't shocking. Latinos will be the number one racial demographic in the country by 2050.
Word.
Cool.
They are very religious. They have a lot of kids.
Boom.
Yeah.
Churches are going to grow. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is very simple to me.
Yeah.
That's like saying by 2050, we're going to have a 20% increase in gay marriages. Weirdly enough, we have a big increase in cafes. Huh.
Wait, are you suggesting, Kwaku, that possibly, albeit a long shot, that the anti-Mormons are falling into the 10 Commandments and exercising zero understanding of natural consequences? Is that
well, here's what I think. I think we're all fall victim of just our surroundings, and they drove down the street and they saw an LDS church being torn down or whatever for sale, and then they know 3 people who just left the church they were friends with or in the mission or whatever, they're going to be like, wow, everybody's leaving.
Yep.
But that's not really the
Yeah, data is not the plural of anecdote.
Also, we're approaching election season where people get more religious during election season.
Oh, good.
And I mean, I understand if you don't like a religion, but making the claim that everybody's leaving that religion, that is the demographic version of like the mean girl in high school who's like, everybody hates you.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I've read
3
through
people
this.
at your lunch table might have said one bad thing about Johnny. That doesn't mean everybody's talking about Johnny and everybody. I distrust people that begin negative news with the phrase everybody. I don't trust you.
Yeah.
I never will.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I was going to say this was definitely, unfortunately, a very cruel and celebratory kind of thread that I was recommended here. And that's the only reason why we brought it up, because... it's like, come on.
Here's what they're going to hate. Here's what they're really going to hate. Okay, there's a picture in the Discord from a news article about church growth in Mozambique.
Oh my gosh, this one is huge. You were telling me
they're not going to like this one.
Oh, why aren't they going to like this one, bro?
I every time I read this over and over, and I think that can't be right.
Is it this one right here? It
is.
Right
that
here?
guy right there. This is just a snippet from it. Go check it out on thechurchnews.com. Okay, so this is a stake conference in Mozambique, where they had to, because at a stake conference you get sustained if you're receiving the Melchizedek priesthood. The stake business took 45 minutes to get through because they were sustaining 145 men to be elders in the Melchizedek priesthood.
145 elders, the Melchizedek priesthood,
in one stake conference.
That's explosive.
Can you imagine the interviews you'd have to do? 145 dudes to get the Melchizedek priesthood. You'd be interviewing for months to get these guys in, and they sustain them all. Now that's enough people to form, I don't know how many new stakes.
Yeah.
But, the antis, I hope the antis are understand, like, I just hope that they swallow on that one, because I hope they choke on that one, because the church is growing gangbusters in Africa. If you're preparing to serve a mission, pray you get called to Africa. They're marvelous people. The church is growing like mad.
Oh, they're going to hate that.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, the church is soaring.
Yeah.
Black people?
Yes.
The racist.
Big time.
What? Oh, yeah. That's
well, the funny
definitely...
thing is they always descend on my anti-Mormon rules. One of the other ones is that they always descend into the most heinously racist comments in their anger against the church. I've literally heard on John DeLynne's podcast say like, well, it's only in like uncivilized and uneducated and like poor countries where people are like not smart that like they like the church grows, because you have to be what
John?
You have, so in Africa,
well, go on.
They're what? I think I heard you say poor, uncivilized, Did you just say that, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like
they assume that these people are getting tricked into it. No, they're family-oriented people who don't have all the stupid trappings.
And they only like Kwaku because he like speaks good. Like,
that woman.
What are they going to say
racist.
to Mozambique? They only like Mozambique members because they talk like it doesn't work.
Yeah, like you finish your sentence. Yeah, right. It doesn't work.
Meanwhile, at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we're like, sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hey, party on. You know?
Awesome.
So
this is like, as someone who sometimes likes to sit back and just watch the culture war happen. Because I don't believe in either political party. I'm kind of do my own thing. But sometimes you just think, man, Utah really is just the hub of all Mormon arguments happening left and right. And the progressive versus conservative Mormons, and everybody has their thoughts. But what's going to happen in 30 years when just straight up Africans have leadership positions?
Can I tell you exactly what's going to happen?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Dude, there
boy.
was literally... Okay, so right now, all of the people protesting all the LGBTQIAA plus, for lack of a better term, that's being put into children's textbooks in California, are Muslim groups. and they're going down and they're marching, and you're seeing ladies in burqas, you're seeing Armenians side by side with them, like hardcore, and the left is silent. They can't say a single freaking thing because for 30 years they've been calling white people racist, and Muslims can do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you go against them, you're automatically a hater. And now the Muslims are like, all right, I don't want this crap on my kid's textbook. And it's the rise of the Latino. When you talk about, oh, there's this major influx and so on and so forth. I go to these school board meetings now, right? Not angry Karens, bro. It ain't angry Karens. It's angry Carinas. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've got some saucy ladies that are throwing it down, and you see these dumb white middle-aged bureaucrats, like the big fat DMV public health people that can barely stuff their mask underneath their neck rolls as they try and lecture you about health. You know what I'm saying? Wear your mask. I care about your health, as they're dying of morbid obesity. You know what I'm saying? Like, those people just sit there and they're like, what do we do?
What do we do now?
There's a Latina and she's a woman, both wildly protective classes, and we've said they can do no wrong for 20 years. Thank you. We'll take you under advisement. Shut her down. Shut her down. Shut her down. Get him out of here. You know what I'm saying?
This is a bad optics.
Antifa literally came to blows outside of the Glendale public school district building with Antifa. Antifa was fighting Muslims and Armenians.
I know who's going to win that fight. Right now.
So it was a short fight.
Not only is there no internal coherence now with all of the racial intersectionality that they've put out there, but do you really think the dude whose great uncle died in the Armenian genocide, whose father fought with the Pashtu in the Turkish army, and you know what I'm saying? Like, all of them have dead relatives that died in some religious war somewhere, and like they are not gonna let. Are you kidding me? Versus the angry preschool intern who's got a rich daddy that paid for their Ivy League education, who wants to put on black bloc and go out and play G.I. Joe on behalf of freaking Marxism. Like, who's going to win that war?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, that's why it is going to look like a South Park episode, because it's going to be so entertaining. Because there is not a group more you think white Christian Republicans are the conservatives. You have not met Africans. You have not. Because American conservatives apologize before they say their controversial opinion. Africans don't do that. American look, I'm sorry, but I'm pro-life, and
why are you gay?
That's an actual quote from Africans. Just there's no apology, and there's no arguing either. They won't sit there and argue with you. They'll do this. This is I cannot anymore. They'll say what they, and then they do this, which means go away. It is going to be.
And the worst part is they're so cool. They're so cool. Like, watch soccer. Watch soccer when the African teams come up and they're playing like in the World Cup and things like that. Oh, they knock a guy over. They don't sit there and try and win an Oscar. Oh, my leg. It'll never be the same again. Oh, I got a yellow card. Okay, cool. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? No. They're classy. They get taken out. They just get up, dust themselves off, keep playing. They knock another guy over. They'll go and they'll hand them their hand. Classiest, most gentlemanly, awesome athletes. I love watching the African teams in the freaking World Cup because they're a class act, but they're there. They mean business. They're like, I've trained.
Ex-Mormon podcasting is not going to know what to do.
Yes.
Kara Burrell, and is that her name?
Yeah.
Is it Kara Burrell?
The charming nuance woman, yes.
John DeLynn, Bill Reel, these guys have only argued with American suburban. They don't understand what's going to happen when the minute Africans get into they don't know what's coming. They don't understand. It is going to be watching this is going to be so entertaining,
so fun.
And you try to tell an African they've been manipulated. Get ready.
Well,
get ready for the firestorm that is coming. I know Africans. I know how they work. All right,
fun.
They're in my family. I'm very excited to see this play out.
Like, and the cool thing is they have such crazy, awesome testimonies. Like, do you remember this guy that we just interviewed? A couple of, it was Prince Mensa was his name.
Oh,
all right?
so cool.
Yeah.
His name is Prince Mentha. Okay.
Oh, no. He was
my middle name.
He was born on a Wednesday. So, no. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I remember that.
No, he was maybe not born on Wednesday, but he was third son.
No, he was the third son.
Right,
sorry.
Yeah.
Kwaku means born on a Wednesday, right? But Mensa means third son, right? Yeah. So I like how like the Ghanaian names are kind of like the grid in Salt Lake City. If you live on 15th North, 200
Genealogy
South,
grid.
like everybody just knows, okay, but like the Ghanaian names, it's like my third born on a Thursday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
It's
for
just like,
genealogists, that's a dream come
it's just a
true.
freaking dream, you know? So anyway, this cat is like busting out the numerology of Jesus, all right? He's 6 months in and he's like teaching me crazy, awesome facts about the New Testament. I want to see John DeLynn go up against this guy. I want to see Bill Reel. Like when this cat is stake president, and you know the Calvin Burt guy that was trying to accuse you of like all the horrible things you didn't do, the John DeLynn that's trying to accuse you and Brad of the things you didn't do, the Bill Reel that's trying to accuse me of the things I didn't do, and when they make it to their court of love where they're supposed to be excommunicated and all of the mousy little stake presidents are sitting there like, oh, what do we do? Because we know he's going to record us. What do we do? If this guy's like, you have told lies. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you lie?
Yeah.
Why do you lie?
Why do you lie?
That's what I'll say.
I can't do the accent. It becomes New Jersey or Slavic. You know what I'm saying? I can't do the African accent. You do it so well, but he's like, why do you lie about us? You have lied. You are excommunicated. We will not explain ourselves. Here's the other thing. Be gone.
Africans still believe in ritual.
Yeah.
And so when you're not going to be able to use the temple was just scary for me argument with someone from Mozambique.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
They're going to be like, oh, this is awesome. Hey, this is great.
It's like, wasn't that weird to you? No.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the whole conversation.
Yeah.
And they'll try to pry and they won't get it. And they're like, what's going on? The cultural shift of this is going to be something. I cannot wait to observe this. It is going to be beautiful to observe.
That's the whole conversation.
Yeah.
So remember that if the whole church shifts over to Africa, awesome. That'd be great. But the important thing to remember about the Mormon shrink thing, I'm channeling Brad Whitbeck here. I'm trying to channel Brad Whitbeck. Is that in Luke chapter 10, what does the Lord tell us? It says the harvest is great, but the laborers are few. Right? And Jacob 5 talks about the laborers in the vineyard, that they're going to be very few. It doesn't matter how big the church is. It never did and it never will. It doesn't matter how many people are members of the Church of Jesus Christ.
No, but we do want more Africans because they have really good suggestions for how to make stake conference and also stake dances a lot better.
That's true.
Yeah, I do have to say that he had some pretty cool suggestions about how we could make some of the church events that involved, dare I say, music a lot better. If you haven't had a chance to check out that podcast.
Yeah, go watch those episodes. Those are great episodes.
Yeah, they're pretty hilarious.
They're great.
So anyway, I don't know. What do you think? Is this all just more of the kind of presuppositional trying to beg the question and trying to sell people on the idea to make young people feel stupid for being part of a church that's in decline? Or do you think it is actually by the numbers legitimate? Obviously, we've seen it's not legitimate by the numbers. So you just think it's farce? Just ignore it, move on? Is that what you're saying right now?
It's a migration.
Okay.
It's a migration. And if you're at the emigration source, you think, oh, everybody's leaving. But if you're at the immigration source where you are in Vineyard, you're thinking, oh my gosh, where are all these people coming from? And so give it some perspective. Don't listen to these antis people. If you haven't figured this out by now, if there's one thing you take from this channel, it's that those antis on YouTube are literally making money off of lying to you. They're trying to trick you out of reading the Book of Mormon. They hate the Church of Jesus Christ. They're lying to you. It's literally their job to lie to you. Don't listen to them.
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
Here's how you know Mormonism's succeeding. Not only are there more people joining the church, there are new Mormon churches popping up.
Oh, spin-offs.
It's like we've got Phil Davis. We got Denver Snuffer. We have nude Mormon. That's how many Mormons are being created. We can't fit them all in our church.
Yeah.
We've got other Mormon churches. Come on. That is a success story. Like, think about that for a minute.
Yep.
There is no religion in decline where you've got now, okay, try this other version of the. It's like this is literally now the battle in the stock market of Mormons.
Cool.
That's true.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, you know, Kwaku, we don't give you enough credit, bro. You know what? That's it's a keen observation. You're more than comedic relief. You are a scholar and a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? So
I think I'm very funny. We should do like a Ward Radio stand-up show.
Oh,
I bet
actually,
we did that in Provo, people would come.
No, I've already reached out to the head of Humor U, and you know who else is on Humor U that's going to be also trying to coordinate on our behalf? Alex Haslam.
Ah,
I have this idea for just a 1 hour stand-up show where I'm just doing comedy. It's called the Rated R Fireside.
Oh, that's funny.
I want to do that so bad.
Rated R for redonkulous.
No,
You know what I'm
no, it'd be
saying?
rated R. But come on.
Okay,
I would
cool.
go to that.
Well, hey, let us know. Would you guys want to go to a fireside that's a stand-up comedy outfit run by one Kwaku L? Do you think this, this Mormon Shrivel argument that the Mormon church is in decline? Tell us what you guys think in the comments below. We try and respond for the first hour or two after we drop a video, and if not, we can always respond later. If you haven't liked this video yet, please like it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and always check us out on wardradio.com.